Vivian, you are a student of a special kind with a subject which is not so commonly known. Which subject are you studying?
I'm doing my master's in museum studies, and my subject is a project museum for the Assyrian Church of the East.
What is such a project you are thinking about? Where shall this museum be?
This museum, as I'm planning, I'm wishing for to be fact, to be real, in the city of Erbil in the north of Iraq, and it's the hometown. It's where the Assyrians come from, and this project museum is a personal. It's for me, as I am Assyrian. I would love to have such a museum to tell about my culture, my traditions, my ancestors, history, and everything related to them.
So you put a lot of effort and a lot of time in your dream. How
Yes,
comes?
yes, of course. It's my passion. It's something from the inside. It's something that I'm longing to have, and it's happening. Hopefully, I pray it will be real in the near future. To open it for everybody to come and know, have knowledge about my people. And this really, it's a dream. It's my dream, and I would love it to be.
So I understand your church is a part of your biography. How are you and your church related?
Since my childhood, I used to attend prayers, afternoon prayers every day, masses. I was in the choir, and since I grew up, I was having a humanitarian or charity work for my people from all the fleeing after the fleeing from Syria, from Iraq. So I help people. So I'm very much involved in my community, in the church. So it's part of my life. It's part of my life.
At which time the idea came up that you wanted to do some academic work on it?
It came up by like by chance. It wasn't planned in the beginning, and so the idea came up after starting my museum studies at the Lebanese university, and so the subject came up to my mind, and I was very, very much happy and excited about it and enthusiastic.
How long do you work now on your thesis? How many years did you put work in it?
It took a long time for a master degree students because of the general situation in the world, because of Corona, COVID-19, and unfortunately my supervisor passed away like many months ago, and that affected me. And so this is all complicated, and obstacles, many obstacles came along the way, so that took a long time to finish it. But hopefully, my defense is on the 2nd of November. So
Oh, in a few
praying,
weeks.
yes, and I'm looking forward to it. It's
Can,
very
can you
nervous.
can you show us your thesis?
I'm very nervous about it, but hopefully everything will be fine. So this is the cover, and I have, of course, my museum has different parts, the galleries. One is permanent exhibition, uh, which is for manuscripts, and here I have many photos for the 51 manuscripts that I'm going to exhibit. and with their inventory sheet and many more details about the about our culture, which will be in the temporary exhibition hall or gallery for the museum. And then most important, which will attract many people, locals, Assyrians and foreigners and tourists, is the cultural traditions that will be and activities that will be uh, done in a hall especially for that. So that's like making people come interacting and encouraging them to come.
You are brought up in Lebanon.
Yes.
You lived in Lebanon,
Yes.
and you are now studying at a Lebanese university. Why to have a museum in Syria and in a small town like Erbil?
In Iraq,
Oh, sorry, yes, of course, in
if I
Iraq.
may
Yeah, 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 yeah.
correct,
Thank you.
because it's a very difficult situation for us Syrians. We don't have a homeland, we don't have a country, and so uh, and we've been until lots of um harassment, and people were obliged to flee. So many fled from Iraq, from Syria, and from Lebanon also because of the situation. They are leaving to Europe, to the US, to Australia, and that's a little bit um, dangerous since we're going into new culture and we are losing our um, language, we are losing our traditions. Um, and So I decided to have it in the Patriarchate. A new complex for the Patriarchate will be built, hopefully in the near future will be finished. And I would like planning to have a section, a part of the land of the Patriarchate to have it as a museum, and that will make it easy for people to come. They have space. They have a safe place. And in Erbil, because our patriarchate is in Erbil, and I pray for security and safety, and that the project of the patriarchate and of my museum will be happening. And That's our homeland. That's where we belong, and it should be there. I cannot have a museum in Europe or in the U.S. because it's not our. It will be awkward, like to have it. It's out of its place, its context. So the context of museum should be around the Assyrians, between the Assyrians, uh, close to them.
You have great plans for Arbil, and indeed, you have a lot of pages written, and you will defend this on the 2nd of November. How's the reaction of your church about this project?
My church, especially the patriarch who retired a month ago, helped me a lot, assist me in my project by sending me lots of information about uh, the permanent exhibition for my museum, which are manuscripts that he collected and preserved. So he sent me all needed information about it because I couldn't travel to see them, so he provided me and with the information needed, and that's he encouraged me a lot, and he was very welcoming for such a project. Although the bishops, the bishop of Iraq and the bishop of the U.S. Part of the U.S. in California, who is now the patriarch, our new patriarch. He was also very excited about my project, about my study, and he encouraged me as well. And so they were very helpful and very happy and acknowledging this my work.
Well, how big do you think are the chances that you get this museum in Arbil, say within the next 5 years? What would you say? How many percent would you give your own project?
I would love to. I'm very excited. I'm very happy about it, and it shows every time I'm talking about it. And I'm praying it will become real. And I don't think it's difficult because I worked very hard and I have everything ready. So like they only need to follow
Follow your guidance and erect it.
follow my guidance, yes, and it's ready. It's everything needed because I worked in the museums before, and I know what's needed, and I visited many museums, so I know what to expect and how to attract people to come to the museum. So I'm ready. Like, but I think the obstacle is the financial part.
Hmm.
So hopefully that will be solved. And for that, maybe I should travel and discuss my idea with many so they can get funds because you know everything needs funds, and that's also part of my marketing and advertising and museum business like part. And so that's hopefully, like I say, 70, I don't know, 70%,
Okay.
80%. I like to be optimistic, optimistic. So hopefully, we never know what the future holds, but let's pray it will happen because this is really to preserve our culture, to conserve and to keep our traditions alive, uh, and to keep going on and to make people also know about us that we are still existing. Assyrians are still existing, and we are. Although we are minorities, but we are here, and we want to show our uh, culture, our language, our hymns, songs, everything related to us. And I want to be exposed to the public and to everyone.
So, our thoughts and prayers are with you on the 2nd of November when you are
Thank you.
defending your master thesis, and then, of course, also with your beloved project,
Thank
the
you very much.
museum in Arbil.
Thank you very, very much for your prayers and wishes and for this interview and um, for liking and getting interested in this project.